What happened with 3 drafts that you tried at and had no luck, and then this period where you're meeting your future partner and then getting drafted? What's that like?
I did my ACL in my draft here when I was 17. And yeah, it'd been this weird period of time because I never thought I was a chance at playing AFL football. I would have loved to, but I just didn't think it was. I thought it was a pipe dream. And I was playing with the Tassie under-18 team at that time, just having a good time. And I had a couple of good games, and suddenly, as you do when you're like a 17-year-old, you get onto big footy and you start you search for your name and just see what everyone's talking about you. And I noticed, it's a few people saying I could get drafted here. I was like, wow, this is suddenly I'm up here. And I'm like, maybe I'm a chance here. And then did my ACL 3 weeks later. So within the space of about a month, I went from being having a great time playing footy, but never a chance of making the big leagues, to suddenly I'm a chance here, and then right back down to earth. And I was like, okay. But the good thing about that period of time, I think for me, was that it kind of lit the fire, and I knew that I wanted to do it because I'd almost got that close. So I was playing basketball at the time. I gave up basketball. I was like, I'm going to play footy. So yeah, a couple more years in Tassie, and then decided to move to Victoria to try and have one last crack at it. And then, played that year at Werribee, and things went reasonably well, and, was lucky enough to have North Melbourne draft me at that point. But, it was... I feel like we've talked a lot about, me, but in meeting Hess at that time, I think that was a really, I couldn't have met you at a better time. I think you could have met me at a better time. But I couldn't have met you at a better time because I feel like I was really on this precipice of figuring out who I was as a person. I think Hester was really important in sort of shaping the person that I wanted to be and sort of guiding me down a path that I knew I wanted to go on anyway, but I don't necessarily know if I would have got there or got there as quickly if I hadn't have met her, because I think the one thing that stood out for me was just how well Hester knew herself and what she wanted out of life and the values that she wanted to live, and how much she would go after protecting those values, and how much she would live by them in her everyday life. And it was to the point where, if I raised something that she didn't agree with, she would just flat out tell me. And I just hadn't had that experience of some people would maybe call it bluntness. But if I sort of said something that didn't quite stack up, Hess would
let you know.
You would let me know about it. I was like, whoa, okay. I've sort of danced around a lot of values-based issues, I suppose, myself. And in footy circles, you do that a lot. There's a lot of blurring of lines with what's sort of kosher and what's not. But there was no blurring of lines with Hester. So, and I love that about her, and that's something that has really helped to develop me into the person that I want to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.